Protest rally of retirees against poverty and the dire situation of livelihood and high costs. On the morning of Tuesday, October 16th, a large group of retirees protested in front of the regime's Programme and Budget Organization in Tehran. Protesters from different provinces, including Fars and Kermanshah, have come to Tehran to demand raising their salaries in line with inflation and the poverty line, implementation of coordinated payment systems, balancing their salaries, and paying their efficiency insurance premiums. The crowd chanted slogans like "Imprisoned teachers must be freed," "Imprisoned students must be freed," and "Prison is not the place for teachers." According to government news agencies, the protesters said that the salaries they receive do not even cover 10 days of their expenses in a month. The regime officials have announced in the past few months that retirees have lost more than 2/3 of their purchasing power. This is despite the fact that the purchasing power has fallen even lower over the past few months. US Treasury announces new Iran sanctions. The US Treasury has announced new sanctions on Iran on Tuesday, including sanctions on an Iranian tractor manufacturing company and a steel company, among other firms. The Treasury imposed sanctions on a multi-billion-dollar financial network that supports an Iranian paramilitary force that recruits and trains child soldiers for the country's powerful Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps. The sanctions also targeted Iran's bank Malat for providing support to the Bazir's Mer-Eqtasad Bank. The sanctions included firms owned or controlled by Mer-Eqtasad's investment arm, including the tractor firm and zinc mine. US says Iran protesters have clear message: stop wasting our wealth abroad. The US State Department said on Tuesday it was following reports of nationwide strikes in Iran. In a Twitter statement, a spokeswoman, Heather Nauert, said that the US supports the rights of the Iranian people to peacefully express their rightful demands. She added, "These strikes have a message for the regime. Stop wasting Iran's wealth abroad and start addressing the needs of your own people." Rouhani described the only glimmer of salvation for Iran regime as hope therapy. Rouhani, the president of the clerical regime, in an unprecedented confession in a speech at Tehran University on October 14th, described the clerical regime as on the verge of death and called the only glimmer of salvation hope therapy. He said, "If a doctor tells a patient that you have come too late, the situation is very bad, pray, well, this is the end, the patient will go on the verge of death. But for the same patient, if the doctor says it is nothing, many have had this illness and were healed, it is a bit difficult but you will go through it, hope therapy is right." Fearful of the growing isolation of the regime and the end of several decades of appeasement policy, he said, "In the White House, the worst people have gathered. They started with the psychological war. Economic war is the middle-term goal. The war for the purposefulness of the regime is their third objective. Delegitimizing the regime is their ultimate goal. Regime change is achieved by delegitimizing, otherwise the regime will not change."